Hello everyone and welcome to Hot Cars. My name's Max Landy and with the help of the Dilawri Group and the BMW Gallery, I'm in the 2021 BMW 220i xDrive Gran Coupé. Now, that is quite a bit of a mouthful, and in case you aren't aware, this 2 Series is nothing alike to the 2 Series Coupé and Convertible that have been on sale since 2013. This vehicle is based on a totally different platform from those cars, and as you can tell on the inside and the outside, looks quite different, and it has a very different overall mission. So that is a critical thing you need to understand about this car and really how you approach it as well. So let's start off with those basics. This 2 Series Gran Coupé is based on the same platform that the BMW X1, X2 and MINI Countryman lie on top of. It shares the same basic engine with the X1 and X2, which is the 2-litre twin-scroll turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that makes 228 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. It's a transverse mounted engine, and that's why it's denoted as a 28i. When you have the 4-cylinder in any of the other bigger BMWs, it would be called a 30i, and that's because those engines are planted longitudinally, so straight line down the spine of the car. This engine is based perpendicular to the driver. So with that out of the way, you've got to keep in mind that this is more a consumer focused BMW. BMW built this vehicle to go down market to chase the sales that the Audi A3 and the Mercedes CLA have been taking, because the 2 Series Coupe doesn't stack up against something like a CLA or an A-Class. That 2 Series is a 2-door. All of the other cars are 4 doors. So with the platform that they had lying about, BMW made this Gran Coupé. So with all of that in mind, what you have to think about is that this is a product that's built for the masses as opposed to BMW enthusiasts, and there's plenty of BMW things that you can appreciate, like all of the latest technology that you'd find in the bigger BMWs. So the beautiful touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay, the digital cockpit, and the iDrive navigation is so good that you almost don't want to use Apple CarPlay because you'll miss out on this fantastic user experience. Graphics are beautiful. Zooming in and out is always very reactive and easy. You can draw the letters that you want on the touchpad to type something into the navigation, or just use the voice commands as well, because throughout my entire drive, every time I say BMW, that system comes on, which is a little bit annoying, but it's there if you ever actually want to use it. The surround of the gear lever and how you interact with the iDrive knob and all the buttons around, they feel just as good as what they would in a $150,000 X7. And even though this is the most affordable BMW car that you can go for, it doesn't feel like they've cheaped out. Yes, there are leatherettes as opposed to leathers, and you'll find some harder plastics down below, but that's not really any different from the base version of the 3 Series. You have to pay extra to get nicer leather, nicer materials, and there are some really nice touches in here. I like how the majority of the black plastics are matte instead of shiny. There are the glossy ones down below here, but I think I can tolerate that for now. And there's this interesting textured graphic across the doors and right in front of the driver on the dashboard, and it has some hidden ambient lighting in it. You can't see it in the day, you would never know it's there, and at night you have the ability to customize that a little bit so you could change the mood of the cabin in this 2 Series. So that's the good things, but the bad things are the things that will upset the BMW enthusiast, because this vehicle starts as front-wheel drive, and that is essentially the antichrist to BMW enthusiasts. You have to pay another $4,000 in Canada to go for all-wheel drive xDrive on the base version. Does it matter to the individual that wants to get into the entry-level car? Probably not, but for, again, enthusiasts, it's a real turn-off. I have to say though that I'm driving on some very cold winter roads and I've got winter tires on, but I get the sense that this car wants to oversteer more than it wants to understeer. I mean, I'll mat the throttle right now on this roundabout and it's the back end that goes out instead of the front, which is quite impressive. With this 2-litre engine, it's hardly exciting and there is a lot of piped in audio. If I just slow down a bit, and I'll mat the throttle pedal now. All that noise you're hearing isn't from the exhaust, it's coming from these speakers. Again, to the consumer, probably doesn't really matter all that much, but to the enthusiast, that again is upsetting. Other aspects of driving, the steering is a little bit numb, but not as bad as what it was when we first came across the electronic power steering systems of the latest BMW products. It does sometimes do a couple weird things on center, so as I go on this very slight corner here, it feels very elastic. It's a strange feeling that you can't describe unless you have the steering wheel in your hands. The brakes are pretty strong, the engine response and the throttle response is pretty good. The brake pedal has a good amount of feedback to it. The 8-speed transmission always seems to do what it needs to, responds very quickly. And this model I'm in is one of the more basic versions, so it doesn't actually have paddle shifters. You can still change the gear shift manually with the knob down here. This 2 Series Gran Coupé on the highway is devastatingly loud. I was surprised at how noisy it was. I know that with the Gran Coupé, one of the styling features is that it has frameless windows, and of course that isn't so great when it comes to isolation from the road and the wind, but it's no better of what you'd expect out of an economy brand, not even a particularly well-built one. It's just a bit of a shame, I'm afraid. And overall visibility in this vehicle is fantastic, I have to say. Now, as a taller guy, I'm 6'4", I am just making space with this sunroof, not even an inch, but I don't necessarily feel cramped up front. I've got plenty of knee room and foot room. That feels good to me. The 2 Series Gran Coupé is a subcompact car, so I can't be too rude towards its interior space because every vehicle in this segment is small by definition. But the rear seats are hopeless. I really couldn't get behind myself, behind the driver's seat. So from the passenger seat with the seat pushed up a fair amount, yes, I could sit behind it, but I have absolutely no headroom at all. On the practicality side of things though, you can split each seat and fold it down independently, so that's great if you need to get long items in, and the boot space is surprisingly big. It's a totally flat floor and it's very easy to lift things in and out, but there is no spare wheel in this vehicle. BMW runs their vehicles with run flats, in case you didn't know, so there is a little bit of extra storage space where maybe you could have put a space saver spare wheel, but not in this vehicle. So as a car journalist and a particular admirer of BMW, I would never own this vehicle. I would happily pay the extra cash needed to get into the 3 Series, because even though, yes, that is as standard all-wheel drive in Canada, it is at least a rear-biased all-wheel drive system, and I have plenty of more space inside, and to me it looks like a much better designed vehicle. So this 2 Series is built for someone that wants to get into a BMW at the absolute lowest cost to them. And for that consumer, I believe they're getting what they want out of a vehicle like this. The premium touches you'd expect out of a brand like this, their best technology, some of their best features, and you probably don't care what power is sent to what wheel at what given time, just as long as you put your foot down on the right pedal and it speeds up when you push hard enough. So for that individual, I think you'll like this car. I would recommend trying the 3 Series as well though, to see if you can feel those differences, and maybe it will suit your life better if you just need a little bit more space. Because for me personally, this isn't my kind of vehicle, but in the world of journalism, I'm not meant to see it from my eye, I'm meant to see it from the individual that is going out to buy this vehicle. So there you go. That's all my thoughts towards the BMW 2 Series Gran Coupé. All the thanks in the world have to go off again to the Dilawri Group and BMW Gallery that supplied me this vehicle for a few days so I could review it and test it out. Thanks again for watching on Hot Cars. Please subscribe, like, comment, share, all of those wonderful things. Hope to see you on the channel again soon.